Snapped Customs.
Welcome to Snap Customs YouTube page. We're going to be showing you how to customize your professional wrestling action figures made by brands like Jakks and Mattel. Hit that subscribe button, hit like, and we will be giving you more videos coming up in the next few days. Thanks. So what we have here is two WWE action figures from two different types of companies. Here on the left we have a Brodus Clay basic Mattel action figure, and on the right we have a Jakks classic Terry Funk action figure. Now, as these look very similar, there are a lot of differences in between the two types of figures, and the disassembly is a little different. What we're going to be doing today is popping off the heads. So we'll be removing the Brodus Clay head, and then we'll be removing the Terry Funk head. With Jakks and Mattel, there's sometimes some different circumstances that do happen, which you will see. Right now, what I am doing, I am heating up a pot of boiling water, and we are going to submerge. First, we're going to do Brodus Clay. He'll be the easiest one. We are going to submerge his head. Usually I'll submerge them up to about their torso. I mean, sometimes if I'm in a hurry and I'm doing several at once, I'll throw them down into the water and then come back to it. But we're just going to submerge his head for about 30 seconds at the most. You don't really want to go too much longer than that if the water's nice and warm, because you don't want to warp the figure. I've also, in the past, had them in too long and warped their heads. So you just want to get them warm enough that when you squeeze on the head, that it's going to be a little bit pliable so you can get it off of the peg in the neck. So we're going to be doing that in just a moment. With the Terry Funk, we're probably going to run into an issue with that, so I'm going to let that happen. Hopefully, naturally, we'll see what happens with the Jakks figures. Those of you that have popped heads off Jakks figures, you'll know what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you take the head off of a Jakks figure, the neck plug, the same as these figures, will come out. And it will actually be stuck inside the head, and I'll show you how to remove that if it does indeed get stuck. So we're going to do Brodus Clay first, and we'll be doing that here in just a moment. So what I got here is my Brodus Clay. I'm just submerging him into the water. It's not at a rolling boil or anything like that. When I first start, I'll dip it a couple times just to kind of ease the figure into it, and then I'll put it in, and then I'll usually give it about 30 seconds. It just really depends on the heat of the water. I just turned the water on, so it may not be quite hot enough yet. I have it on a low flame, but I'm going to sit here and soak it for just a second. Sometimes you'll see the head turn a little bit of a color. Lighter color, that's a good indicator that you can pull it off. Note to self, kids, don't be doing this at home without your parents' permission, especially over an open flame. And also, do not grab hold of that head barehanded. A lot of times when you do this, you can see when I pick this up, that water comes running out of that. That's boiling hot water that could hurt you, so be very careful. Have a towel ready. Let it drip dry for a second before you grab a hold of it. So what we're going to do, we're going to boil it here just for a second, a little bit longer than 30 seconds, so the water's a little bit cooler. We'll take it over here to our towel. You can see the steam coming off of it. So with that, you will grab a hold of his head. What I do is put a towel over my hand, grab underneath the chin. Now that's cooled off, I can do it underneath the chin and just pry back, and you can see the neck is just popping off, and it'll pop right off. You'll hear that popping sound. These are very easy to do, and what I mean by pliable, you see how mushy it got after getting hot. It gets hot and it's a little bit easier to come off. So now you have a figure ready to put a different head on, or if you're removing the rest of the arms and stuff, it's the same process, but we'll get into that in a future video. But as you see, no damage to the neck, and this is what we call the neck plug, so no damage there. So the next one we're going to do, that was the Mattel Brodus Clay. You saw quite how easy that was. Put it back on. All you would do is boil this head, and you can probably do it now, but you want to boil it, just get it warm again, and then just put some pressure on it, and that will pop right back on there. Terry Funk is probably going to be a different scenario. I want to get the water a little bit warmer for him, and we'll be right back to do the Terry Funk figure. Alright, so we've boiled the figure for a moment, and you can see the steam coming off the head. Be very careful when you touch it. We don't want that to come back and burn you. So what we're going to do is just hold tightly to the figure and pull it off, and that one actually came out rather easily, and you see the neck peg stayed in. What happens sometimes is when you pull the Jakks heads off, that neck peg will actually stay in this hole right here. And if it does that, what you have to do is heat up the head again, and then you take a pair of needle nose pliers and you'll actually grab a hold of the neck plug, and then just same way you remove the head, just good pressure, and then you just pop back, and that will actually remove the neck plug. So this is what happens with most of these old Jakks figures like this. You pop the head off, and as you see, the head popped off fine, but the plug is stuck inside the neck. Now if you're trying to move this over to, say, this body, that is going to be a problem, because you cannot put this plug right here into this body. So what we're going to do is remove this plug from this neck. Now how we do that, we'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So what I'll typically do is grab it with a pair of needle nose pliers if it has hair, and just soak it. Now the main thing you want to get down in there is the plug, so I'll hold it upside down. That way, as you can see, the hot water is penetrating down underneath that plug, because we need that head to give so that plug will pop out. Now you see I'm on a rapid boil right now, so it's not going to take that long, but you just want to not keep it down there for like a minute or two, because you could definitely warp the figure. So I'm feeling it's hot on my hand. It's you don't want to stay in there too long. So that one's about ready. We're going to move it over to here. So let me stop this and we'll... Alright, so once it cools off, what you want to do is reach inside of this head and get a hold of that neck, of the ball inside the neck. Now be very careful not to hurt yourself, stab yourself, anything of that nature. You just want to reach inside the head. Now this may take a couple tries, so don't get frustrated. Sometimes I get very upset because it does take a minute, but you just want to get a hold of it. Get the best grip you can get on it, and then just try to, what I always try to do is get one of the needle nose down inside of the neck. And just slowly kind of try to pry it out there. Once you pull it out, that's what it looks like. So that is what the old school Jakks looks like. Those will not work in a Mattel figure unless you remove this ball. So, and then you would have to make a hook for it. So once you get it removed, that is good to add to a figure. And let's say you wanted to add that to maybe Brodus clay. All you would have to do is heat up the head, which this one's already hot for the most part. So you would just heat it up and then push down, and then that's how you add it. And then to take it back off, same premise. You're going to heat that back up and then pull it right back off. So